is the Wandering Mic.
Welcome everyone to the Wandering Mic. Today I'm here with Jenna. Hey,
Hello.
Jenna.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
So, well, I just woke up an hour ago, but
Oh, really? Lazy.
not 2 hours ago. I already did some stuff on the laptop.
Good on you. You're hard at work.
How's your morning? You having a good day so
My
far?
morning, it's kind of funny. I was meant to do roadworks, be the stop-go lady, but
Right.
I was literally running out the door late, and I get the text saying it's cancelled, and I was like, oh, for goodness sake. And then she was like, but bonus, you get paid for 4 hours. So I'm technically getting
Really?
paid right now. Yeah.
Well, that's
Good things come there to those.
that's a well, that's a good morning, eh?
Yeah,
You just get paid for having a conversation
literally. Yeah.
because I'm not paying you anything.
What? What? Hold on. Back the truck up.
All right. Um. Well, we usually start these things off with just you telling us a little bit about yourself. Whatever
Okay.
you want to tell us, your life, your journey, anything you want to share.
Broad. Okay.
That's the idea.
So I'm Jenna. um, do I say about like my family and stuff?
If you want.
Okay. I'm from a place called Tauranga / Goa / Australia. Moved quite a lot.
Right.
I'm one of 4. Got 2 sisters and a brother, all of whom are legends. Mum and dad, great. Grew up in a really Christian environment, great home, lots of fun. Yeah. What else? I don't really know what to say.
Well, why are you here in Queenstown at the moment?
Why am I here in Queenstown? I got this job, bit of a nepo baby, but I got a job as a guard on the route burn. So I'm just walking around. I'm a professional walker now. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
That
keeping people alive.
that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, so what got you motivated in doing that job?
What got me motivated to do it?
Yeah.
Well, it's Queenstown, which is pretty cool. It's a dream. Bunch of my friends were doing it, so I thought, why not? And yeah, it just sounds like a great summer's job to be outside, getting paid, meeting people, which is like the greatest part, and just goofing off.
So you kind because I talked with some of the other people when you all started, like
Mm.
obviously, like you said, you have to take care of people.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that's going on in your heads all the time because you can't just be like, oh, this is so beautiful, but you're kind of in guide mode.
Mm.
But by now you think you've got a good balance of also enjoying it while you do it.
Yeah, I think I have enjoyed it pretty much the whole time. I'm pretty,
That's good.
pretty chill. Probably a bit too chill upstairs sometimes, but nah, yeah, it's lots of fun. And now, yeah, I can relax a bit more because I've done it a few times now, so I'm more comfortable. But yeah, it's great.
Nice. Um, so you said you moved around a lot. Well,
Mhm.
you've been to Australia as well as New Zealand.
Yeah.
Well, I always hate questions like, "What do you prefer?" But
What do I prefer?
no,
Oh.
I'll ask it a different way. I'm saying, um, did you pick up on differences in the places? Like, do you feel like there's like differences in just how you grew up and what shaped you in terms
Mm.
of in New Zealand or in Australia?
I was an Aussie. I was fairly young,
Mm,
so I think I was 8 to 12 or something like that.
Right.
Um, what I think shaped me. I do think that I was on the Sunshine Coast in Aussie, so it was really, like, relaxed and,
Mm.
you know, just at the beach. That was kind of like all we did. So I do definitely that shaped me a lot because that's all I like to do now is relax and go to the beach. But, in terms of, like, people and stuff, I don't really know. I think it was more of just like a holiday over there. Like, it just felt like we were on holiday all the time, because it was just so nice. Um, and then, yeah, I don't know, the differences. Honestly, it's very similar, I think. I didn't really notice that much of a difference, except it was, like, warmer over there.
It is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, probably if you're like all the way in north, like in the north of the North Island,
Yeah.
it gets quite warm. But
Yeah, Tauranga isn't warm, but
it is warmer in Australia
yeah,
than it is in New Zealand. Right?
yeah, which is, like, nice.
Yeah, I like it
So,
too.
yeah, I can definitely see myself back there. But, yeah.
Um, does that come connected with any specific plans that you have
It's
of going to Australia at some point? Is that something you're like looking
locked
forward?
in on. I don't really know yet. I'm still in a loose, flowy stage. Yeah, loose and flowy. Interesting. I do see myself there at some stage. It's like I don't know when. Maybe I get my degree and then I get a job over there or um something like that. But yeah, it's nothing locked in. And I do really want to go home back to Tauranga for a while. That's the next move. But, yeah.
So Taranga's kind of similar in that way you were talking about the Sunshine Coast, though,
Mm,
because it is kind of nice weather. There's beaches there too.
yeah,
There
lots of
are.
beaches. Yeah.
S um, yeah, I mean, the topic always comes up when we talk about New Zealand, and especially with Kiwi people. Um, how do you feel that, or how is your own relationship with nature? Because that's just something that, especially from people not from New Zealand, that's just something we always
Intriguing.
admire. Like, yeah, how you have like quite a good relationship with nature and how you like always like you grow up in it and embrace it. Yeah, I don't want to answer the question for you. So
So
how was that the whole relationship with nature and you growing up?
I guess I've never known anything different, but I think when I went to Europe and traveled Europe for a while, that became, like, very obvious how lucky we were. Like, I grew up, yeah, outside constantly, running around the beach, farms, everything. So it's always been a big part of my life, but I think, like, yeah, since that trip, I've gone to appreciate that even more and, um, yeah, I don't know, I think it's a special it's special, like, it's a happy place, I guess. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like when I arrived in Auckland, which is a city,
Mm.
which is like the biggest
The
city,
most yeah, city you can get, really.
and even there, like as soon as I arrived, I felt like, wow, this is like so in tune with nature. Like even
Yeah.
there in the city of Auckland, I immediately felt like this is just
Still
different.
yeah, that's so nice. Still connected to yeah, it's everywhere, eh?
Yeah.
I think New Zealand's really good at, like, making sure there is still nature around, like, greenery, lots of parks. It's like yeah, I think that's what makes it quite cool. Yeah.
What places did you visit in Europe? Would you go there?
Europe, places. I had a friend in Germany who I know, God forbid.
Eh,
I'm kidding. I went to Germany, I went to the Netherlands, to France, to Italy, Slovenia,
alright.
Croatia, Montenegro, Albania, Turkey, and I think that's it.
That's quite a list.
Yeah, we
That's
cruised.
it's quite some countries.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
How much time did you spend over there?
I did 3.5 months.
Nice.
Yeah. So you didn't stay much. Like, very long in one place, but yeah.
Well, but that's like 3.5 months is a good
Yeah.
amount of time. Well, again, I am gonna ask this question now. What was your highlight of the
What
trip?
was my highlight? Oh, Mike, which is a huge question. What was my highlight? Country-wise, it probably was Turkey.
Mm,
I absolutely loved Turkey. I think it was, like, the culture. I don't know, it's just a beautiful culture, like, it really is. Like, there's a lot of, I don't know, I loved their faith. Um, like, you'd just be laying there and then you'd hear it over the speaker. What is it called again? The
the
prayer.
yeah, like I don't want to get the word wrong,
No,
but
neither do I.
like the guy who does
The guy.
is it an Umran? Is that
I
what that?
can't remember. I can't remember.
Yeah,
But that was, like, really cool, and it was cool how that just became so normal. Um, and just the people were so, so, so kind, like, so welcoming and kind, and it was just beautiful, just so pretty. Like, we again just spent our days swimming.
all right.
Like, we did the coast. Um, yeah, and Cappadocia.
Oh,
Cappadocia was, like, probably one of the biggest highlights for sure.
that area is super
It's just
beautiful.
insane.
Did
Looks like
you?
Mars.
I guess there's always hot air balloons around, right?
Yeah.
Did,
Yeah,
did you do
everywhere.
that with?
We didn't go up in one, but we did see, like, we got up in the morning and watched the sunrise, and they were all in the sky. It was unreal. Yeah. We were too cheap, so we did a horse ride instead.
No, but the area there is just. I mean, I haven't been. I've seen pictures and
Mm.
videos of friends that've been there. It just looks
It's
amazing.
like another planet, yeah, it's pretty cool.
And yeah, you said the coast is because I know it's mostly like the south, isn't that where like you have these really beautiful beaches and like
Blue
the
bluest
water
water
is
ever.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's the whole way around, honestly. That, like, and Albania, their coastlines were just, it was like Croatia/Greece without the hype, you know? It was
Right.
really nice. It was really cool. Yeah.
No, yeah, Tur Turkey is like compared to the other countries that we mentioned is just huge as well. So you get like the variety
Mm.
of landscape there as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, like, I think that was one of the places with that whole nature thing where I was
Mm.
like, "What is this?" Because you had to pay to go to a beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, not every beach, but companies could come and just, like, park up and, like, put some chairs on the beach and then make you pay, and you can't just go lay on the beach, which is, like, such a disconnect. I'm like, "That's
Right.
so weird." Like, that's so weird to me that you have to go pay.
To privatize
Mm.
nature kind of in
And
that
you do a
sense.
massive, like, we did this big bush walk. It was beautiful. We would just wanted to go for a swim, but we get down and all the beaches is just, like, resort, like,
Mm,
hidden resorts, and we were like, "We just wanna go swimming," and the guy was like, "No." We were like, "What the heck?" Like, it was so random.
yeah.
Let
That
me swim.
I think that's a I mean, again, I haven't never been in Turkey. Well, I've been in Turkey, but not like those regions
Mm.
myself. But those resort things are a huge thing, especially in Turkey,
Yeah.
because um, that's kind of a lot of Germans seek out Turkey as a like holiday
Yeah,
destination,
do they?
but then they don't usually like go and explore it on their
It's
own,
just
but
like,
they
go to
just
a resort and enjoy the
yeah,
beach. Yeah. Which
it's
it gave, that was what, like, the vibe was of the whole place. It
that's
was,
that's kind of the types of holidays that I like
which is,
the least.
yeah, because
It's
it's not
just
actually Turkey, is it? Like, you're just at a resort.
you, I mean, I'm sure they have them in Germany. Obviously, not as much. That's why people do go to Turkey, and also it's cheaper there.
Cheaper.
But like, you could do that literally at home.
Mm.
Like, you could go. I mean, I'm not trying to make it sound super bad for everyone who's enjoying it. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
me
No, it's
personally,
cool, but yeah.
for me, it's just I don't see like a lot of sense in it because
Yeah.
you're in a resort and then you're right next to the beach. Maybe you have your private beach, but then you have like five pools in the resort as
Yeah.
well, and then you just lay at the pool all day.
Yeah. To be fair, that does sound like a dream, but it isn't. Like, there's, like, 2 types of holidays or, like, 2 types of travel, and there's, like, actually getting immersed, and then there's relaxing, which are both okay. But
Right.
in Turkey, for me, it was like, this is so rich here. Like, it's so cool. So, like, culturally rich.
Their culture is
So
really
s
rich.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so much fun. Yeah.
It's like a yeah, I think especially for Europeans, it's also like the easiest um kind of gateway into the more Eastern
Yeah,
culture,
yeah,
kind of, because it's like a well, to be fair, especially from Portugal, our gateway was Morocco because
yeah.
the
The
flights
flights
over
are
there
cheap. It's like
exactly. The Chiefs were so fly. Um, so yeah, we just been to Morocco for a weekend and cost like not even 30-40 euros
Mm,
return, so like super cheap. Um, but yeah, especially for Germany, I feel like and countries that are more in Central Europe, Turkey is that gateway,
yeah,
and it's a nice like look into that kind of culture.
yeah. Like, it's a change. Like, it's a massive change. That's cool.
I don't even know if in Morocco, I don't think that um it was that present because I know what you were talking about with the I still don't know the name, but
What is it called? It's doing my head in.
when the guy in the mosque like does the
Sings.
prayer and yeah, and he's oh, I'm not
Yeah,
kind
and
of
you don't do
trying
it.
to, but that's one of the things that well I experienced in Indonesia as well
Mm,
because they are also like overly Muslim country and that's one of the things it just yeah, it just shapes your day because you get so used
you
to
get
it
so
and it's
used
just,
to it.
oh, the morning, the evening, and it just
Mm,
kind of, um, yeah, puts the day in a nice little
yeah.
yeah, people can't see what I'm doing.
Routine. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like it
Like,
wraps it kind of in a way.
it wraps it, and
Just
it's like a community. We are all on the same time, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like there's, like,
yeah.
points up throughout the day where everyone is, like, linked in a weird way. But no, it's the coolest thing. I loved it.
So yeah, I'm just trying to remember in Morocco, I didn't really l like, have it in the forefront of my head. Maybe
Mm,
I didn't pay too much attention to it, but I feel like there it wasn't that present, even though it's obviously a Muslim country as well.
mm.
So yeah, maybe
Yeah,
I
no,
just
Turkey was loud and proud about it. Cool. Yeah.
um I am the master of transitions.
Okay, let's transition.
so well I want to ask you more about your travel later on as well, but since we're just on the topic of faith,
Mm.
you did mention that
Wow.
you were brought up in a like Christian kind of family,
Mhm.
to quote you.
Yes.
So
Jesus people. Crizzos, as we go by.
Chrysos.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um, so is that has been and is that a big part of your life as well?
Um, yes. Short answer, yes. I think growing up as a kid, my dad was like a pastor and stuff, so I was very
Also
much
was
I
very
wasn't like
present.
yeah, but we were very chill, like very, we have faith 100%, but it was never like I don't know, I like to think we weren't super I don't know how to word it, closed-minded, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, so growing up, I had very Christian home, went to youth group and church and camps and stuff, had fun, and then kind of, I guess, went to uni and, um, as you do, the classic story, I guess I just kind of drifted. I had like a boyfriend and kind of drifted away from it in a sense. And then I was kind of in and out, not in and out, but like weekly doing it, I guess. Not actively pursuing faith or anything. And then I dropped it completely, and I was like, "F this." And then I had fun for like 2 years. Um, Not crazy, crazy fun, but, let my hair out of it.
Yeah.
And it was fun because I felt like this weird sort of pressure my whole life, I guess, to be, I don't know, good. And then yeah, just had fun. And now in recent times, I think probably over this last year, I've been coming back to it on my own sort of terms. Um, so it's kind of done a full circle. And I see it very differently now, but yes, it is still a big part of my life, but I'm still gauging it. Yeah.
Um, I have a lot of
You
questions.
just ask away because I have no idea where to take that.
Um, but I also, I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of questions, but I also realize that you are just a person. So I
Mm,
don't know if you actually have answers. But I mean, the very first thing that came into my mind, when you were talking about religion and your dad being a pastor, um, how do you feel about those two things generally being linked? Because if people talk about, especially I think, with Christianity, if we talk about religion, we
mm,
kind of think about church.
yeah.
So do you think these two things like necessarily need to be connected?
Um, no, I don't. Not for me. I have never really liked church. I never got, I don't know, found one that I was like, yes, this is me. And I think that that was what deterred me from faith in a lot of ways because I didn't necessarily line up or agree with the way. No church is ever perfect, don't get me wrong. I still love it. It's fun. But like the way I do faith is very personal, like a personal relationship. Um, and being in a community, being surrounded by it is definitely important. But I don't think it necessarily has to be, you have to be going to church every Sunday to be a Christian. It just is like a support in it, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I agree with that. That's kind of the thing is, so with me, and I think I've told this a couple of times on the podcast, so I'm trying to give you the short and but for me, I was always actually when I was growing up the most religious person of our family
Mm,
because in Germany, um,
everyone's
basically you
Catholic.
it's kind of tradition.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
you baptize your children and you kind of, especially the south of Germany, where I'm from, you're like, yeah, it's traditions,
Mm,
you take your Christmas, your Easter very
seriously,
serious.
but it doesn't mean that there's like an actual relationship there.
Exactly. So, and my sister and I, we were actually Protestant as well
Mm,
because my mom was Protestant, my dad's Catholic, so we were baptized Protestant. But that doesn't really make a difference in Germany as
no.
long as you're a Christian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Most people are Catholic though, so that they're the majority. So yeah, it was basically we were baptized because that's what you do, and then we never went to church. Sometimes we did for Christmas, but
Mm,
also
yeah.
not really. Mostly we did for a couple of years because I was like doing the Oscar told me the name of it in English, like the nativity play, something
Yeah,
like that.
it's yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was doing like the Joseph in there. So
Right.
so that's why my my family actually came to church to watch me like play in there. Um, but
Nice.
yeah, long story short, I kind of always saw something in it, and I also didn't go to church. Not even close to every week, not even close to every month, but I
Yeah.
kind of was interested in it. I did my confirmation, what you do if you're Protestant. It's kind of
Mhm.
like the communion for Catholics, but it has its own name and stuff.
Yeah.
So I did all that, and was always very interested in it, and kind of did it on my own. And when I was in the States for a year, I also went to church there every weekend, because
Mm.
there was like, in the States it was even bigger, like the whole community thing, church thing. So I kind of found my church pretty quickly there, and then just went on going.
Yeah.
And I kind of went away from, because I would say it's probably, I don't know, but it sounds like it's similar to when I was then like 18, 20s, like in that area. Um, I was seeing it more spiritual, so I kind
Yeah.
of let go of the label God, and I call it, or to this day I'm calling it, the universe. And that's kind of where I went, like, spiritually.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my belief that I have now. So I actively, like, went away from calling myself Christian as well. But yeah, it's kind of similar in that way, because I do realize that some people can also call the universe God, and kind of talking about the same thing I am. They're
Mhm.
just putting another label on it.
Yeah.
So so yeah, I kind of came to the same conclusion that religion really isn't anything at all that needs to be tied to, like, an institution, like a
Mm.
church or a mosque, or
Yeah.
um because those are the two that we just talked about, but obviously there's others as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so another question, just because of the way you worded it, I just want to go into that because I find it quite interesting. You say, and you went away from religion and you had fun for a few years. So
It
do
seems,
do
yeah,
these
I
two not
would.
go
They
in?
do, absolutely, they go hand in hand. I think, yeah. So, I don't really know. It was just like it was more of I need to figure this out on my own. And you think you're having fun, and, like, I say, "Yeah, it was fun," and I had fun, but
Hmm,
it wasn't, and the classic story, it wasn't fulfilling fun. It wasn't
right.
bettering me at all. I still felt like I just, was kind of floating through life. Um, no real connection with people. Like, it was all very self-centered, to be honest, you know? It's a
Mm,
self-centered way to live, I reckon. And I just, yeah, I didn't like, it's fun and you do funny things and you have funny stories, but, yeah, it's a destructive, well, I found it a very destructive way to be, and it's lonely, it's weird. And it was something that I'd never felt because I was Christian my whole life, and, I did have, I guess, it felt like a safety net. It felt like a comfort to have that faith. And when you drop it and you're like, oh my goodness, like, it just, you feel, I knew I wasn't alone because I always believe, but it was like you feel more alone, you know, I felt more alone than ever. And I was just like, this isn't for me. And like, I kind of, when I came back to faith, it wasn't even so much of, oh, I want to have a relationship with God necessarily. It was that I kind of came back to it because I was like, I'm sick of being a shit human. Like,
right.
I wanted to be a good person. And to be honest, if being a Christian or having faith is what's gonna help you be a better person, then, like, I would so get behind that, even if it's not,
No, I
real.
totally
Even if you don't
agree.
believe in it. I just think if you're being a better person for it, then what's the harm in, like, believing in something? So then I kind of, yeah, looped back to, like, the morals of it, um, and I always think I've been, like, a kind person, but I definitely had a harder heart then, and it's not nice feeling to, you know, um, and now, yeah, just kind of so much more comfortable, so much more relaxed.
No, no, I totally agree. Like, the one thing, that's why, again, I have no problem, like, talking about my beliefs, and
Mm.
if people ask, like, telling them exactly what it is I believe in, and I'm uh, well, people that listen to Trent's episode, that was basically we talked about faith for the whole
The whole
episode,
time,
pretty
yeah, because that's
much,
his whole.
because he has some very good points on the
Mm.
topic, and he's like a very knowledgeable
Yeah, he
in the
is.
topic as well, and we um, yeah, basically had a very, like, neutral conversation, just, yeah, talking about our
Mm.
beliefs, and,
Yeah.
he was listening to mine, and he was, and we were kind of finding parallels
Mm.
as well in the things, and from my perspective, a lot of the difference was just the way he called things, like, he called him God, and uh,
Yeah.
I don't know how he interpreted the whole conversation,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we had, like, a whole and long conversation about it, but, um, so I'm always, interested and open into discussing these things, but, to the point, yeah, I always feel like it's so stupid to, whatever anyone believes in, to tell someone, "Don't do that," if it helps them
Then
to be a better person.
yeah.
Like, I don't care if you believe that there is aliens that, kind of, I don't know, brought us here once, and you
Yeah,
wanna
you
get
would
back to your alien, if it helps you to be a better
be the
person,
person,
like,
then yeah.
go
Yeah,
go for it.
absolutely. 100%, and that's, like, I think, oh, there's a lot behind people needing just to believe in something, you know? There's a lot of truth behind that. And for me, I guess that was the beginning of my new faith journey. That's how it started. I was like, I just am sick of this. I just want to be a good person. And then it kind of came back to actually to be that it is a relationship with God, you know, and that is the end goal. I'd like to live like Him, I guess. So you can't do it without the relationship side of things, which is what I very quickly found out.
Right.
Um, but yeah, been fun, been a good time.
So, um, another thing that you said was it not being a fulfilling one.
Mm,
So, um, obviously, faith can be a big part of that, but that's a question that I always find very interesting,
what do you mean?
as well. Like, right now, what would you say, or how would you define a fulfilling life?
For a fulfilling life. Big question.
I only have
I
big
guess all
questions.
I have to look at is like a fulfilling life. One that is, I guess, for others. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely, my friends always joke that it's Jenna's world and people are just living in it because I definitely can be selfish and stuff. But I think a fulfilling life is for the benefit of another and for being, I guess for me, it's being a friend, a good friend or a good, I don't know, and just not looking at things, having, how do I word this? Like through having faith, you can see the world through a different lens. You know, it's beautiful. It's amazing. You
Yeah.
can look at a tree and see more than a tree. You can look at, I don't know, nature. Again, that's probably why I'm so you know, to
Yeah.
nature. Um, because you can see everything in a different lens, which just leads to more fulfillment, I guess, because you're seeing beauty in everything, you know? People. Like I literally can't get over and since coming back to faith again, how many people have come into my life and like amazing people. People I literally don't know what I would have what I did without them, you know? Like friendships, the depth of a friend, the fun because I don't even know how to explain it. You have this trust in God. You just have this, how do you explain it? You can relax and love people, and that's as deep as it gets. Do you know what I mean?
Um,
All of
I
these.
mean, I feel like I know what you mean. I'm trying not to say too much because again, you should use your own words, but
Mm.
that's
Yeah,
kind of
help me sum it up. I can't.
how I feel with I just know the universe has a plan. We're
Yeah.
just using different words, but basically, yeah, you can relax because everything happens for a
Yeah.
reason. You know that if you just surrender to it and well, go with the flow or with the will of God or
Yeah.
however you want to call it, that things will play out. And if you surrender and put yourself on your path, like the universe, God will put people in
Yeah.
your path to help you with that.
Yeah. I do think that there is a massive difference between God and believing in the universe or that, because when you believe in God, like I say, it's a relationship. It's a one-on-one relationship that you have, and you just, I don't know. It's not, to me, believing in the universe freaks me out because I'm like, I don't trust this place at all. Like,
Mm,
I don't want to surrender to the universe. I don't it's God. That's why I can relax in the universe. Do you know what I mean? And like I guess it's not about, yeah, it's not about for in my faith it's surrendering to God, worries and all that stuff, because you've got him to lean on. Whereas when you believe in the universe, I'm like, what do you just like, are you saying that you just think everything happens for a reason and it will play out?
yeah, that's basically that's I think if you had to sum it up in one word, that's kind of the biggest thing I believe
Mm,
in is that everything happens for a reason,
yeah.
and that the universe definitely,
Takes care of you sort of thing.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that there's signs out there as well that
Yeah.
you can listen to or not as well. But um, yeah, so I definitely believe that everything happens for a reason, and that the universe also has a plan that not necessarily always goes hand in hand with what my human brain at the moment um, wants the plan to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall it has a plan, and the plan is generally good, is what I believe as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm at.
Yeah. I do think that there is quite a significant difference between believing that and then believing in God. Yeah. But it's great to believe in something. Yeah.
So um, but yeah, I definitely see that point that you were saying as well, and I totally agree with that as well. Is that fulfillment comes mostly from doing good things for other people.
Mm.
Because when you were saying that you had your fun, it kind of didn't feel
It's
fulfilling
not even fun. It's just, yeah, it's not fulfilling. And yeah, it's just like a mopey way to go through life, to be honest. Like
to.
lack of any substance.
I can.
Well,
Oh,
actually, no lack of substance. That was the problem.
exactly. And now I can even more so quote one of my favorite rappers,
Yeah,
Mac Miller.
Mac, my favorite,
Uh,
my boy.
um, because like in one of his songs, he was saying, "I conversate with acquaintances, but it's nothing real."
Mm,
And since you just made that pun with substance, that was obviously a time where
yeah,
he was also very heavily um, under the influence of many drugs.
yeah,
So yeah, I feel like if you're just living this outworldly like lifestyle, basically engaging in all these
yeah.
quick and like fleeting, um, how do you call it? Like
Satisfaction.
yes, yeah, then
Nowhere. You go nowhere. And I think
it's not fulfilling, nothing real.
no.
It's like
And I think that that's where the whole going with the flow sort of living is very dangerous, because that's what I was doing. But the flow, you have to have discipline. You have to have self awareness and like a goal. in mind, or you're going nowhere. And it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was never bad. Like I was definitely still on the very lower scale. Like I wasn't doing drugs and all that stuff. But I just think it doesn't really matter. It's destructive if you don't have something to better yourself for, or like, it just, you're not just a floating being, just like here to have fun. You're not that. That's not the purpose of you, you know?
Yeah. You know, I mean, people that listen to the podcast know sometimes I ask big questions.
Mm.
Sometimes I also don't. So I wasn't prepared to just ask you all these big questions. But since that's where our
Yeah, no,
conversation is going,
ask away. I'm not the best at words and like summarizing things.
I feel like you just proved yourself wrong with the last 40 minutes.
Oh, I do not. I feel like I'm missing every point, but
But I mean, since that's kind of where we're going with our conversation, I have two questions. I will ask the more general one first, and then one that is more that's always very like tailored towards
yeah,
the person who answers it. So,
ask away.
um, what because you just said that's not what we're here for. So obviously, the big question is, what do you think?
What do I think we're here
What are we here for? What's the purpose?
for? This is where I am very much on my journey because I don't know. I just know that there's something.
Right.
And I've honestly come to a point where it's nothing grand. It's nothing like I'm going to change the world. It's
Mm,
just being, like, I guess, and just even if you make one person's day or like that sort of small stuff, and I don't know why we're here.
mm.
All I know is that it's messed up, it's hard, and I just need something to help me through, which is exactly, and like, yeah. And I don't know why we're here. I guess because God created us, He loves us, and He's like, go have fun, guys. Disciplined fun.
I was about to say we're misusing the word fun
Fun. I'm
like a
using it
lot.
all the time. I say it way too much. He's just like, go and live. I actually don't know. I like know why I'm here, like
Do you
to
think
bring light, to, have fun.
to follow up on that question then, do you think that we're supposed to know why we're here? Is that something we should like concerned with?
Um,
Because if you're saying like, yeah, there's something like he put us here, but I don't know why we're here. Like, should we be thinking about it? Should we
I think
be
it's
concerned
important to
about it?
know that you have a purpose, and every person on this planet Earth has a purpose. That's important to know. But I guess that's where faith comes in because you trust and you have faith that that's it, and that you can go about your day knowing that you are here for a reason, and that you, I guess, figure it out but day by day what that is. Like for me, I personally just think these last couple years, my purpose is to just, I don't even know, make people laugh. That tiny little thing, or just like, I guess, listen to them, really listen to them. Like, just be a friend. I think that's genuinely my purpose. I don't think there's anything extravagant to it, you know? But I think it's more just trusting that you have one and you figure it out as you go, I guess. Yeah. Does that answer that?
No, it does. Um, and it also kind of probably maybe already answered the question that I wanted to ask with that,
Mm,
which is because I mean, what is the purpose is more philosophical.
mm.
But for yourself, what have you kind of figured out
For myself,
as the goal?
right. Um, my goal, like I think I've said it a bajillion times now, I just want to be a good person who brings, I don't know, joy to the world. Or just, I just want to, yeah, be a good person. love people, you know?
That's definitely a good goal.
Mm,
That's,
straight up.
um, and I feel like if that's always how I kinda look at things, if and again, who am I, to judge at all, but I'm just always thinking, like, a goal or something that you kind of try to be, if that's something that has a net positive, it can never be a bad thing to
Bad
have
thing.
that as a goal. So if everyone would have that as their goal, the world would definitely be a better place. So
Mm,
it can't be a
yeah,
bad goal to have.
yeah, yeah. Agreed.
Um, well, actually, maybe I think about more philosophical questions, but we talked about this topic now for a little bit, and I want to go back to travel.
Oh, yeah. Hit
Um,
me.
and yeah, just kind of go a little bit more light. Um, so and yeah, I'm just gonna. I mean, Turkey is great, but I was actually not expecting that as your answer with all the countries that you've listed because you've been
Mm.
to um like more maybe not well no
Typically more
yeah
favored.
like more like vacation-y
Yeah,
places,
which were dope.
Croatia, I already forgot all like most of
Greece,
the
yeah.
Greece, Slovenia even.
Slovenia.
But yeah, just overall, how did you also because you traveled with your friend that you visited?
Yes, my friend.
So you traveled by car?
No, we bussed. We overnight bussed our
Oh, you
butts
bussed.
around Europe. Yeah.
So the point's still kind of the same. How did you like experience the whole travel thing in general with Europe just being, you hop on a bus and
Mm,
then just the next day
random.
you're on a different
This was
country.
like there was a few things, like, going over there from New Zealand, you are so far away, and I don't think I knew that, and, like, growing up, going on family vacation overseas and stuff was a massive deal because it's so far away. Everything just feels literally like it's on another planet,
Yeah,
and we're just at our own little world down here. Um, and when you go over there and you can just, like, hop on a bus in Albania and then hop off, it's like, how the heck
yeah,
did that just happen? It's wild. It's wild to me. Very cool though, very cool. And it was very cool to see, like, how the further down we went, it just, like, it changed, a lot. It's not they are separate countries, they completely separate cultures and languages and stuff, and it was just so cool. Um, yeah, and it was a very fun.
yeah. That's something. I mean, I don't forget it, but for some reason, I always, when I was thinking about my own travel, was looking very far away from Europe.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is a lot of people from Europe have said that they like I said, I do something, and then they go, "I lived there and never even did anything like that, or never went there," and it's I guess it's just the classic thing though, like, you've got it in your backyard essentially, so you don't see the importance of it or, like, the excitement by it,
yeah.
you know?
And so, yeah, there's so many countries that you can visit just in Europe, and it's like you said, like it's so many different cultures.
Mm,
And think the best thing where I actually had that realization was when I was driving down and then also back up from Germany to Portugal,
mm.
and you basically go through well three countries. You go through France, Spain, and then eventually Portugal,
Like, it's just
and
amazing.
and yeah, and, like, going back, I did it in 2 days, because my parents also came down and helped me drive up some stuff because I had, like, a lot of stuff, accumulated over
Yeah,
my
yeah.
years there. But back down, it took a little bit more time, like 3 to 4 days, and it's just yeah, it well, firstly, you leave Germany, and you still go a few hours through Germany, and then all of
Mm.
a sudden you're in France and you have like all these French speaking
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
and you can definitely like even just by going through and stopping for coffee, stopping for some food, like you
Yeah.
can already pick up the differences in
Yeah.
just how people
Right. Oh,
interact.
yeah, absolutely, it was crazy. It was really cool. Yeah.
S-
Um, wait, what were you gonna ask?
Yeah. So what was your biggest maybe
Re
yeah, kind of being like, well, we talked about Turkey, but maybe other than Turkey, when you came into a country and you were just like, oh, th- this thing they do is cool. Like,
The coolest thing I found was the sound like, how they would embrace one another, you know?
mm,
Like, they would hug and kiss on the cheek and, like, really just show love towards one another, and I loved that. Like, it was really cool. Also, how they biked everywhere. That was
was
really
that
cool.
in the Netherlands?
Yeah, it was kind of everywhere. They just would, like, bike everywhere, and I swore to myself I'd come back and get a bike, and I didn't.
Yeah, it's
But
kind of yeah. In Germany, we also love to bike, but yeah, the the Netherlands is, I think, that's like
the whole thing
the
about it,
bike
yeah.
country. Like even there, because that's so funny as well with how language tells you about culture. Because
Yeah,
like 50% or even more of Dutch sayings have the word bike in there.
yeah.
Like, I
Rando.
I don't yeah, I knew, like, a lot of them because I was working with Dutch people as well. Um, but it's like, yeah, as smooth as a bike ride or something like that,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah.
Because that's
'Cause that's
the
their
that's their
reality.
normal thing,
Yeah.
yeah, that's their
Funny.
go-to. You or you like yeah, I don't know, remember all these others, like, it's
But yeah, it's like
flexible as a like, everything just comes back
back to
to the bike,
biking.
yeah.
Yeah, no, funny. What else did I think was cool? I do think, yeah, the way that they were with one another was cool. The coffee, like, I
Mm,
think down when you're in, like, the Balkan region, it was just, like, their lifestyle was just my dream. They just were the most relaxed people I've ever met in my life, and they'd just sit outside in the morning on their little chairs outside their houses, drinking grainy coffee, which was delicious, and smoking a cigarette, and I just think it doesn't get much better than that. But yeah, no, it was, like, just the lifestyle, I think, was cool.
mm,
The freedom, the thing with, like, looking around and thinking no one cares what anyone else is up to is huge over there. Like, I feel like here, people are nosy, sort of, and
really?
do you feel that way?
Well, I mean,
It might have just been because I was foreign.
I totally get what you're saying, and, especially the countries that you met, like, in the Bal I totally agree, like, the people from the Balkan, they are
Just
so
so and
chill,
they're just,
and
like,
they, in my opinion, really have it figured out, like
straight up. I agree.
but compared to I mean, I'm from Germany, like, compared to
Germany
Germany,
is
like,
crazy.
I feel like Kiwis are, like, not at all nosy. I feel like you just
Yeah,
let people do their thing.
that's interesting.
That's my opinion.
You are probably right, though, because when I went to Germany, I was a little bit shocked at how, like, goody good everyone was, and, like, it felt like it was weird. It felt like people were, like, watching you to make sure you were doing the right thing. Like, I remember, like, the prime
Yeah.
example was we came to this crossing, and it was, like, 9 p.m. at night, there was not a single car on the road,
Yeah.
and I just walked across, and then my German friends were like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, 9,999," and then they were like, "The thing hasn't gone green yet," and I was like, "What the actual?" Like, just walk across the road, no one's watching. It was weird, like, it was like a textbook. Like, we always do the right thing, and
Yeah.
the
It
amount of speeding cameras and, like, just, like, policing of people, it was a bit weird.
yeah, and yeah, it's so funny that you actually use the lights as the example
Yeah,
because that's like the stereotypical thing. It's like even if there's
going
no car on the street, like you wait for the light to
to
go
go
green.
green.
And
It's, like, built into you guys, it's crazy.
some I mean, I guess because I have kind of I don't want to say because I hope I don't look too mean, but I kind of have a presence where people don't say anything,
Mm.
because that's when I visited Germany while I was living in Portugal, because in Portugal, it's the exact opposite. It would be rude if you went when it's green. Like, you just you
You
like,
just, like, go
you
you'd
you
go about your
go you go, like, with the flow,
yeah,
if it's red, but the next car is, like,
you go.
so far away, you don't even press the light to make him wait. You just
Right, yeah.
you
See, we're,
go,
like, somewhere in the middle.
and yeah, so it's basically, I always make that joke and say, like, it's rude to cross on green. Um, but then in Germany, I obviously then do the same thing, and people always look a little bit weird. But then even, yeah, like you said, it's more like then the friends and the family also kind of like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Because then they're kind of associated with
Yeah,
you because
and you're like
you're
a
a bit,
badass, and
bit
they're like, "No way am I
and,
part of this."
yeah, and you're like breaking the like what people expect
The
you to do.
unspoken rules, yeah.
So, but all those things you said, basically, you can definitely like put them on the culture as a whole as
Mm,
well. Like, that is, and it's, yeah, you're pretty spot on in
mm.
interpreting how German culture works, because
It was just well run, like a well-oiled machine of, like, everywhere was clean, it was just, like,
I
a
mean,
respected it wasn't like, I guess that's why if I think, like, about Albania or Turkey or something, it's so much richer,
yeah.
but less, I guess, successful as a country, do you know what I mean? Whereas Germany is, like, very, like there's, like, a right way to do things, and it shows. Like, it's a well-run place, and
Uh,
yeah, in
uh,
terms of, like, just day-to-day life.
yeah, I mean, that's definitely the best thing about Germany, and I always say as well, like, their system works, and they definitely
It works.
have a good economy. But then I disagree with, like, what does it mean to be like a working country?
Yeah, well, no, exactly.
Like Portugal is, compared to Germany, I don't even know, um like, so much lower. Like, and if you just look
Mm.
at the economy, if you look at um what people earn, stuff people in Portugal have to work like
Yeah,
3
I
jobs
know.
to just, like,
Survive.
survive, and yet they're a million times happier
Happier.
than
Yeah.
Germans.
Well, yeah, I guess, like, by economic standards and all that stuff, Germany looks, on paper, it looks really good, but
But
that doesn't define, yeah, a well-run country, I guess,
and it
if the
even
people
works
aren't necessarily
on
happy.
the superficial level, like you said, like, you go there and everything's working because it is.
It's
Like, on
yeah,
the but yeah, are the people happy? Are they, maybe,
inspired, like
yeah, are
yeah.
they even, like, maybe not meeting their potential because they're just, like, formed into a thing that they should
Mm.
be, and it's a thing that works, but there's not a lot of, yeah, venturing out of that and
Yeah.
trying to, like, have fun, since
Yeah.
that's a word we love
Have
to throw
fun. You've
around.
dropped a lot of F-bombs. Yeah.
Um, s
Well, that's I guess and, like, I guess it's just what you value personally, right? Like, so many people would love it over there and would
Obviously,
thrive in
yeah,
that, like, what's the word? Environment. But for myself, and I'm guessing for you, it's probably not, you know, where you thrive.
yeah,
And you don't value what they value, you don't value that in your country. Like, for me, it's all about it. Like, the people, the culture, connecting with one another, like, relaxing. Whereas, yeah, I'm not at all one who's, like, grind mode, like, "Let's wake up and make some money." I'm not like that. I'm not a routine, which is sometimes a problem, but sort of person, so that sort of lifestyle would never work for me, where it would work for someone others, yeah.
but I mean, yeah, now that we talked about it for a while, I guess, New Zealand obviously is way closer to Germany than it would be to Albania, for example.
Absolutely.
But I still feel like it's I mean, with those 2, it's obviously closer to Germany, but I still would say it's miles away from being a German.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I think it was funny when I was in, like, Northern Europe, so, like, Germany and stuff, I was really appreciative of New Zealand, and I thought, like,
Mm,
"We are so lucky. It's
right.
so cool at home," and I still think that. But then I went to, like, Albania and Croatia and Turkey and stuff, and I was like, "Actually, we have nothing behi like, we're pretty boring, you know, we're pretty bland. It's beautiful here and stuff, but, like, culturally, I feel like we're pretty whitewashed, you know?"
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah.
No, yeah, the Balkan yeah, actually, the Balkan states are a really good example for all that as well.
Mm.
Because I usually always I mean, Portugal, they, in my opinion, have it pretty, like, good on the spectrum of being happy.
Yeah.
But, like, my go-to example, for this was always Indonesia, because that's the time
Oh,
where
yeah.
I personally, when I went to Indonesia, was, like, the first time that I saw people being generally happy
Yeah.
and, like, generally living in a
Yeah.
community, like, kind of what they definitely do in the Balkan states as well. But that was my first experience. I was like, "Oh, well, obviously, if you compare all these things to the European standard,
Mhm.
it's
It
horrible."
looks terrible, but
But
when you're actually there, eh?
you don't even like, you don't even care about, like, all these things. Like, those are not things, so it isn't clean. So
Yeah.
so what?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like I need anything to be clean to be happy, and then you see these people who are, like, so caring and, yeah, just happy and having a good time.
Yeah, and that's like I guess, yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. That's how I kind of felt when I was over there. It was just like the smallest things meant the most. Like, you know? Yeah. It was great. It was really cool to see. Made me, yeah, realize, like, I guess that I wanna be the sort of person who, like, because I don't know how to explain them. They were so welcoming and, like,
Yeah.
my my house is your house, they come round, you know, and, like, it was complete strangers and stuff. And I know, like, there's a lot of people in New Zealand who are like that too, but, I don't know, it was just so warm there. It was great. Like, warm energies.
Yeah, becau yeah, maybe it's just, there's levels to
Mm,
this, like, as people love to say. Because
'cause
I
you
also
found that
feel
in New Zealand, have you?
yeah,
Yeah, lots of people do.
I always feel like, because also I think New Zealand, it is an island, so you
Yeah.
really have that island kind of
Yeah,
lifestyle,
we do.
um, here as well, and it's and I'm not saying that everyone, in New Zealand is happy, and also not everyone, showed that towards me, because a lot of people, but I'm not opening that one up, but a
Yeah.
lot of people kind of unhappy with the government at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
Um, but yeah, I that aspect, in specifically, I definitely found here as well, just not even locking their doors, and then your
Yeah.
neighbor just standing in your kitchen and be
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Hey."
We are definitely like that. Like, we are it does have that vibe for sure. Just, yeah, it's a level, and it's not to the same extent as what I was seeing over there.
And
Um,
what I also have to say is that I wasn't in any other country I felt as safe as I did in New Zealand. Like,
yeah.
in all the countries I've been to so far, including Germany, New Zealand is definitely the safest country I feel like I've ever been in.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, lots of people say that, eh? It's slowly changing, I think, but for overall, I think we're pretty safe.
That I think
I think it was very interesting when I went from New Zealand to places like France. I was the most naive little girl ever. Like, I look
mm,
back at myself and I'm like, "Boy, was I lucky." Like, I didn't even know what went on, you know, like, what people
right.
would do. Like, I was in France with there were these 2 boys at the hostel and they went out and got mugged.
Right.
And I had just walked probably for like 3 or 4 kilometers with my backpack on, nothing, like just like through the dark, in the dark pretty much, to this
Mm.
hostel, not thinking anything of it. And then like you hear stories like that and you're like, oh my gosh, like I need to have my wits about me because like I knew I had to have my wits about me, but just not to the same extent of like people can be cruel and like it's not actually New Zealand everywhere. It's not safe everywhere, you know? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's again, it's levels.
Mm.
Because a friend of mine, Santiago, who actually did the first episode of the podcast as well, um, not our Santi,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
back in Christchurch, and he told me the story once how in Christchurch he was because he was working as a garbage bin collector, and he was coming home relatively late from a shift, and walking through Christchurch, and a guy in Christchurch, tried to mug him, and he
Mm,
was kind of just running up to him, and he was like, "Give me all your money," and then he just went like, because
nah.
that's what he's used to. He's like, "No, fight me for it," and then the other guy's just, "Well, never mind."
Really? God, no way.
So
Even our muggers are relaxed.
he wasn't even worried. He was
That's
like
so
in
funny.
his I mean, it's also kind of because it's kind of horrible that he's so used to it
That's
because
awful,
of
but like,
Argentina. But he was just like, "Yeah, bring it on. I'm
bring it
ready.
on, I'm
Like,
ready. I'm not
I'm
yeah.
always ready," sort of.
Yeah, yeah,
And then the
yeah.
guy kind of felt intimidated.
Yeah.
Like,
I haven't
well,
had someone square up to me before.
no, we can actually. I
Wrap
think.
it? So
Um,
so
no. So yeah, but that's
yeah,
that
that's hilarious.
that was quite a funny story. Um, yeah, we actually talked about a lot of stuff
We did.
already, and a lot of interesting anecdotes from
Mm.
different countries. So that was, and we put a pretty serious topic in the middle there as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I mean,
no,
it's gonna be interesting to listen back.
um, that was fun.
Hmm.
So thank you, Jenna.
No,
Thank you
thank you
for
for
taking the time and doing this. It
thank you.
was nice.
Pleasure, my pleasure.
All right. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and bye, everyone.
Right back at you.